John, a question for you. Now, is it true that part of the reason you got involved in your first acting classes was because you had a romance going with a female drama student?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what did you think when you first started taking those classes?
It's hard to remember what I thought, but I'm sure I must have felt that it was fun, it was entertaining and interesting. And somehow stage time or movie time just has more weight somehow. It gave me an awareness of everyday life that I might have maybe lacked before, I suppose.
In 1983, after doing a lot of theater, you went overseas to do your first movie.
Mm-hmm.
With The Killing Fields, what did you think of that first introduction to filmmaking, and what impression did it leave on you?
Well, I really enjoyed it. I mean, enjoyed is an odd word in lieu of what that particular film was about, but it was just incredibly interesting, and had that film in particular had a great crew and a very interesting group of people, actors from all over, people who weren't actors who were in it, journalists from all over, Cambodian refugees, people who had lived with and under the Khmer Rouge, people who had fought against them, et cetera, et cetera. Very exotic location for months and months in Thailand, and yet a very great introduction for me to the sort of business of making movies, because I got and remain quite friendly with David Putnam, who's always been a very good producer, and that was a great introduction, because he's one of the producers that really, most of the money that's raised for the movie goes on the screen, you know. And that was a great introduction.
Over the years, how good have you become at predicting the box office success of your films?
No idea.
I mean, like you say, from Empire of the Sun to Objects of Beauty to Places in the Heart, did you ever think one is going to do better than the other?
No, I mean, just the same thing that anyone would think is just, when I did Empire of the Sun, I mean, I think Steven had just made, what, E.T., I guess. I mean, or I can't remember if he made something in between, but, I mean, he was doing kind of well.
Yeah. And,
one would assume, I suppose, just in passing, that would have done well or done better than it did, but, it didn't. And, say, when I made Object of Beauty, I thought, quite frankly, it would be not just a disaster, but I thought it would be a horrendous film. And then when I saw it, I really liked Object of Beauty. I mean, I don't think it's the greatest story ever told, but I like Object of Beauty. I think it's very well made, well done, and I really enjoyed it. So who knows? And I have no idea how many people went to see Object of Beauty. I shouldn't think very many, but I don't know. I don't know how many people go see this. I never have any idea.
Now, turning into In the Line of Fire. Now, it's kind of a change of pace for you, playing like a kind of psychotic killer. Has that deep down been very fulfilling for you to do that?
No, I think no more or less fulfilling than most things I've done. I mean, to me, it's always essentially the same. You take this person who may or may not have some familiarities with you, and you attempt to portray the way they view the world in a way that's entertaining to an audience, And for me, it's pretty much always the same.
Now, in this film, you co-star with Clint Eastwood, but really you don't really have many scenes together, physical scenes together, until the end. Do you feel that you actually co-starred with him in this movie, or did you have a feeling of separateness?
Well, see, when we did all the scenes on the phone, we were there. I mean, in other words, you know, we were talking on the phone, et cetera, et cetera. So I did work with him a lot, and you know, he has quite a presence, so he kind of seems like he's around, I guess, even when he isn't. But yeah, I feel like I did. I mean, to me, it was worthwhile. I was very pleased to have had that opportunity.
And one quick question, we're doing a thing on the Oscars. I was wondering, when people are nominated for Oscars but they don't win, what kind of mementos do you keep from the ceremonies from when you were nominated?
God, I don't think I have anything that I can think of. You know, it's so strange. That was so long ago. It just seemed like another lifetime. I mean, I'm not very sentimental, and I don't remember anything about it except that it was the year Passage to India was eligible, or whatever whatever one says, and there were all these elephants there at the ceremony, and people were hired to follow the elephants around and clean up the poop with huge shovels, you know, all through the lobby and hallway and backstage. And I spent almost the whole ceremony out there watching, because the thing I was nominated for was, I think, the first one, and my associate Hang Noor from the Killing Fields won, thankfully and deservedly and gratefully, and so I was out in a minute, probably. That and that they had professional seat sitters, which I don't know if people knew that, but you see, when you watch the Oscars, which I don't do, but when one does watch the Oscars, a lot of people are up and they're out in the lobby, or they're in the urinal, or they're doing whatever it is one does, and there are actually people hired to come and sit in your seat.
Oh,
you know, in their evening gowns and, you know, tuxes and stuff, and then they sit there until you come back, you know. So that's all I remember, I'm afraid.